OpenPublish is a Drupal distribution that has been created for the specific needs of online publishers. It is a semantically rich Drupal distribution which integrates with a number of cutting-edge Web 3.0 technologies, including the entity extraction API. OpenPublish was created by Phase 2 Technology, a Washington, D.C. based company. It's based on the years of experience creating content management solutions for the publishing industry. Basically, we were doing content management for a number of publishers, 3 years, and we decided that we've been doing the repetitive thing over and over again long enough that we'd package it up and make it a product, then do specific things for the publisher on a client basis, but not repeat the common stuff. It has been in development for 3 years, and during these 3 years, the first version was published, the public version was published in April 2009, and since then, well, it was in development and then it was published. And since then, it has had 8 minor releases and 2 major releases. So, why did we create OpenPublish? It was a lot of effort, a lot of developer hours, analyst hours, etc. The thing about Drupal is that it has grown quite large. And right now you have about 7,000 modules that are available for Drupal. It's great because it really talks about how much Drupal can do in general, but it's kind of frustrating for the newcomers to the Drupal community because you cannot figure out which of the maybe 100 modules they really need for their specific task out of this 7,000. So to solve this problem, we created OpenPublish, which is the best practice modules for specifically publishing from those 7,000. And the quote I like to describe the problem and the solution is from Leonid Ivanov of Grinnell College, where he says, it's basically overwhelming. We see this huge menu of modules, but all we know is that we're hungry, so give us something we can eat. So why use OpenPublish? OpenPublish has about 150 modules of the 7,000, so yeah, you save a lot on having to analyze the modules. You get the industry-approved list of modules that work best for the publishing. It also has a lot of custom modules developed specifically for OpenPublish, because when we were implementing the publishing sides, we found the modules that worked for us, but there was also a whole suite of functionality that was just non-existent. So whatever was missing, we developed. We also pre-configured a lot of modules because some modules serve many needs, and we pre-configured a whole bunch of them specifically for the publishing needs. So according to our calculations, if you start with OpenPublish, it's a platform, so we still expect that you will customize it for your specific needs. But if you start with OpenPublish, we estimate that you will save about 400 developer hours versus starting with just Drupal. Not only you will save time, but what you will start with is also a proven and stable setup versus something that would be developed from the grassroots. So when we say stable and proven, what does it mean? For some of the sites that are using OpenPublish and have been built using OpenPublish, probably the most notable and well-known names would be the New Republic, The Nation, and PBS NewsHour has also started using it for one of those sites. OpenPublish has to date about 17,000 downloads. It has about 3,500 active installations, and there's a lively group of OpenPublish users which has 350 members. It's on groups.drupal.org/OpenPublish. So with that introduction, I'll let Frank give a preview of some of the features that OpenPublish provides.
I'm good with computers, not with microphones. So yeah, I'll walk us through some of the more notable features. So one of the things that OpenPublish comes with is a large collection of pre-configured content types. There's a lot of, I guess, usual suspects that you'd expect to see in a publishing site. Articles, blogs. We also do a lot with multimedia, so there's images and video and audio. And there's another, I guess, what we consider a very important enhancement in OpenPublish over just your stock Drupal installation, and that is that authors are an actual content type and not just a system user. We felt that one of the main limitations in Drupal was that it considered the author of any piece of content to actually be a user in your system, and in any real publication, that's never the case. There's guest authors, there's multiple authors on a particular article or piece of content. So what we tried to do is make something much more usable right out of the box. So I'll walk through just a little bit of that. So we finally gave usable authors. So here we added, since authors are just another type of node, we made a node reference, node relationship within any given article and blog and a couple of other content types. So here you can see that we have two different authors on this one article. And what happens is that on the view page for that article, in the byline, we have both author names, and it also can link off to an author page. But in addition to that, at the bottom of the article, we also put author bios. And this is information that's entered directly in the author content type. So this adds a lot of great functionality. Clicking on any individual author can then take you to a page that basically shows a summary of all of their content across the site, like what blog posts they've written, what articles they've written. So it's kind of, I think we call it author pane. Drupal is awesome, but not incredibly usable right out of the box, which is, the thing that you might hear again and again. So this is your standard content creation screen on your default Drupal installation. So what we wanted to do is give the editors a little bit of love, give the people who are entering this content, give them something that's a lot more usable. So this is what the same screen looks like in OpenPublish. We moved a lot of things that you might have to scroll all the way down the page for. We moved them off into the right sidebar and collapsed them. They're there if you need them. You don't have to use them. Many people wouldn't necessarily use some of those things, but they're there, and you don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom. We've added things like WYSIWYG editors. I think it comes with CK editor right out of the box, configured so that it doesn't appear on the fields you don't want it to, and it does appear on the fields that you do, which is another kind of nightmare getting a WYSIWYG together in a Drupal site. So we've handled a lot of that configuration for you. So we've done a lot to make the editorial process a lot better. Here's these are just like the things that I like to talk about. It's just this very simple thing that I think makes it a lot more usable. So in most Drupal sites, you have these view edit tabs that appear directly below the title but above the content. And when you're logged into the site as an administrator or an editor or author, and you're actually working with your content, it could destroy the flow of your page, and you don't know exactly what it'll look like. So sometimes you'll have to log out to see what it'll look like, and then log back in so that you can edit it. It gets to be a real pain. So we took that set of tabs, we pulled it out, and we stick it in the top right. You can see it where that orange arrow is up at the top. Little things like that. But I think this kind of really plays into what we think makes OpenPublish really special and why we say you get 400 hours of a head start. We do a lot of things for you that would take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. And when you do 100 things that take 4 hours, that's 400 hours. So that's kind of how we try to arrive at a number like that. Some other things that we do that are kind of under the covers, but if you're developing with OpenPublish would matter quite a bit. We use context 3, we use features, we use panels. So we try to take a lot of best practices for how you would develop publishing sites and integrate them in with OpenPublish. a lot of these things are, you can use context for block layouts, you can use panels, you can sometimes use them together. There's a lot of options, but we try to give you a best guess for how, for how section front should look, how you should lay out the landing pages for certain taxonomy terms. So, is anybody here familiar with these tools? Okay. So in using features, we've actually migrated almost all the functionality in OpenPublish to features, and this is the oh goody, look at how many features list that we have. This is your standard installation, and you can see this is from one of our actual production installs. So you can see in the second to last column, a lot of the features are overridden, which is kind of the purpose with OpenPublish. We give you this stuff that's pre-configured, but not exactly what you're going to need, but close. So the fact that they're all overridden means that for this customer, we've customized a lot of the things that come in the box. So moving a little bit more towards some innovative technologies. Is anybody here familiar with semantic web, or has heard of it? RDFA, things like that. All right, well, RDFA is great, and it's wonderful, and it's built into Drupal 7, but it's not built into Drupal 6. And OpenPublish is built on Drupal 6. So what we did is we, in our theme layer, integrated RDFA into your content. And to give an example of what this integration looks like, this is the source of your pages. And what we did is we've basically annotated bits of content in your page so that things like search engines can understand that this piece of text could have any tag. It could be an H1, it could be a div, however you've kind of done it, but it knows that this is the title of the page. It could look at any other piece of content, like for example, the time up there, and it knows that this is the date that this content was written. This third one down is identifying who the author is, and that's kind of that can be very relevant, especially with SEO. You can search for Oracle and articles, and if the search engine is smart enough and understands RDFA, it can list for you all articles where he is specifically noted as the author. So you can get much better search engine results. And the good thing is it's coming to Drupal 7. So continuing the topic of innovation, OpenPublish has, this is kind of what our secret sauce is for OpenPublish, and it's what we call the Collay suite. It's making use of the OpenCollay module and a couple of other modules that we've written around it. Do people here know what OpenCollay is? Okay. OpenCollay, think of it as an auto tagger, basically, but it's a smart auto tagger. So it doesn't just notice that Barack Obama is in your content. It knows that Barack Obama is a person. It doesn't just say, hey, we've pulled out this entity and we think it's, the word is IBM. It knows that IBM is a company that has a ticker symbol IBM. It can see that Washington, D.C. or Atlanta, Georgia was mentioned in your content. And it knows that Atlanta, Georgia is contained by Georgia, which is contained by the United States and has latitude and longitude coordinates. So what happens is it sends all this information out to the Collay web service, and let's show you what it looks like. It sends the information out to Collay, and it gets back all these tags, and then it applies them to your content. But it gives you a little bit of flexibility. It doesn't have to just automatically take every single tag that you've ever written that was identified and apply it to your content. It can either suggest it and let you pick, or if you want something a little bit more automated, it'll do it for you. And we can be selective about that too. There's relevance scores that are returned with each of these tags. And it will know if one entity that's recognized is really the main topic of what you're writing, and it'll have a higher relevancy score. Versus if a person was just kind of mentioned in passing, they'll have a really low relevancy score. So you can set thresholds that will determine which level of relevance will make a tag applied. And we could use that recommendation to power other features. We wrote another module called More Like This. And you can see in the left here, it identified terms pre-filled from Collay, basically the terms with the highest relevancy. And for this one in particular, it got Gulf of Mexico, oil, seafood, technology. And we use that to power recommendations. They could either be on-site or off-site recommendations. It has a plug-in architecture that helps you find things more like this. So in the top right, it found 2 other articles on the site that have tags very similar to this article. You can do other things like search for those tag words on sites like Flickr. Basically anything that has an API you can integrate with. I might recommend being selective in how you use Flickr because it's based on how people tag their photos, and sometimes you never know quite what you're going to get. If you're going to do it, I would suggest putting the safe filter on. Another thing that we did is a module called Topic Hubs. So what Topic Hubs do is they allow you to see which tags are most popular on your site. And if you want to, you can create a topic hub around basically that taxonomy term. Or it could be a taxonomy term expression. It could be tag A and B, or tag A and B, or tag C. And this is one that this is just like a kind of standard topic hub based off of one tag called politics. And what it does is it aggregates all the content from around your site and puts it in one place. So we have the most recent content on the left, the most viewed content in the center, and then comments based on content that has been tagged with politics on the far right. We can also, like I said, it returns location information and IP addresses, and we can throw those on maps like we did up there. And topic hubs are incredible for search engines as well. Search engines do a great job indexing these pages and see your site as more of an authority on these given topics. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Rebecca.
I think I broke it. Yep. No, I fixed it. So, there's some interesting features in OpenPublish. At the same time, OpenPublish is a platform. So, it is to be used by taking what's already there, getting a head start, and then customizing for the needs of the actual publication that you're implementing the site for. Some people are fine with it, some people need some help with it, and we had a lot of requests for helping out people implement OpenPublish and provide services around it. A lot of people also need to scale OpenPublish installations to large traffic. So we partnered with a company called Acquia, which most of you probably know about, which does a great job providing managed services and scalable hosting around Drupal installations. And Phase 2 in Acquia will be offering a Drupal for Publishers solution based on OpenPublish, which will include multitude of services, including design, development, training, hosting, support, etc. The specific packages offered with this service will be announced in the coming months, but it's a definitive agreement between Phase 2 and Acquia. So there will be place where you can rest assured you can get professional support around OpenPublish. We're also very pleased to say that OpenPublish is not in English anymore, has not been in English for several months. We have the latest version of OpenPublish released in August, already includes French, Spanish, and partial German. There's very active community of translators working on Arabic, Dutch, and I believe Romanian. So last but not least, what's next for OpenPublish? Obviously, the biggest elephant on the radar is Drupal 7 and OpenPublish on Drupal 6. So I'm happy to announce that we have already started working on the OpenPublish for Drupal 7. The first alpha version of that will be released for the DrupalCon in Chicago, so we will demo it there. Meanwhile, we're going to release late October OpenPublish 2.3 on Drupal 6. We really want to concentrate on migrating OpenPublish in Drupal 7, so this will be the last release of OpenPublish on 6 that still has new features. We'll probably release some maintenance and bug fix versions for Drupal 6, and we will definitely continue to support OpenPublish on Drupal 6. But since our main feature-driven development is moving to Drupal 7, this will be the last version that still introduces new features. So because it was last, we felt we should be nice to the community, so there's a lot of nice things coming on in 2.3. I will not list all of them, but probably a few of them that are worth noting is the streamlined workflow for publishing. Also integration with the Facebook social graph, so you will be able to, out of the box, comment on the articles using your Facebook Connect account. Don't have to register to the site. Also very, very tight integration with Solr. OpenPublish 2.3 has a faceted search for Solr. A faceted search, if you're not familiar, is basically you search for something and then you can drill down into the search results. Like a lot of big sites do that. Like on Amazon, you search for something and it asks you, oh, do you mean a book, or did you mean a toy, or what did you mean? So it's actually very powerful for OpenPublish, the faceted search, because as Frank has talked about, we use OpenCollate to tag all our content. So search actually knows a lot about the content without any editorial intervention. So you can do very interesting things for free. Things like, let's say you search for White House, and then on the right sidebar, it's going to tell you that, oh, within the articles that I found that talk about White House, actually I noticed that there are these people mentioned, like Barack Obama and Rahm Emanuel are mentioned. Do you want to drill down to only see the articles that are about them? Or I noticed that the articles that are about White House, there's these places that are also mentioned in this article. Do you want to filter by that? So it's very interesting view that you can create. Like I said, the next big thing will be Drupal 7, and Drupal 7 is obviously a completely different architecture, which allows us to do many more interesting things that were difficult in Drupal 6. We do realize that upgrade passes are very important, so maybe yes, maybe no for alpha version, but eventually there will definitely be something that will make migration of all your content, all your Drupal 6 OpenPublish content to Drupal 7 easy and possible. So with that, I want to finish. If there are any questions, we're very glad to answer them. I was asked to make an announcement that there is a shuttle outside that is taking, like there's a happy hour that is being sponsored by Microsoft, I believe. And there's a shuttle that will be going every 15 minutes from 5:15 to 6:30. So we can also talk over the drinks if you have questions, or we can answer questions now. Thank you.
Did you say the alpha version should be ready by March?
The alpha version of OpenPublish 3, which will be for Drupal 7, will be ready for Chicago, which is in April next year.
I think it's end of March, like the
End of March, okay.
very end.
Okay, thank you. I'll make
Sure.
that.
Cool. Let's go have some drinks. Question?
You have a question? Well, I have a couple questions.
Sure.
What are all the theming options for OpenPublish? What do you recommend users do theming? Kind of seems to recommend that
OpenPublish,
theme?
yeah, OpenPublish provides full flexibility of Drupal theming. So OpenPublish theming is Drupal theming. We actually take it a step further by providing a base theme, so you don't have to start from zero. Like there's a base theme that out of the box gives you a lot of stuff, including some of the RDFA stuff that Frank has talked about. You can customize it, and we're constantly working on making theming easier. So probably in Drupal 7 we'll have a new base theme, because one of the things we're also working on, as you know, the HTML5 is a big deal right now. So we're trying to make OpenPublish theme increasingly HTML5 compatible. So you'll see a lot of changes geared toward that. Some of them will actually be in 2.3, but most of them will be in OpenPublish 3, which is Drupal 7.
Quick question. I'm sorry, I wasn't in here for the whole presentation, so just
No problem.
if you already covered this. What are some example sites that are using OpenPublish?
Sure.
Did you guys cover that already?
Sure. Let me go back. So the question was, what are some example sites that use OpenPublish? Oh. Oh, there you go.
We passed it.
Yep. Did. There you go. So OpenPublish is actually widely adopted. It has 17,000 downloads, 350 production installations, yada, yada, yada. Some of the sites that you probably are more well known would be the New Republic, The Nation, PBS NewsHour just employed OpenPublish for one of their sites. Semantic Universe is also using. They're also
Oh, sorry.
there are also a whole bunch of non-English sites that use OpenPublish, mostly
Probably a
web.
large percentage of OpenPublish sites as of right now are like B2B trade magazines. A lot of media magazines and publishers that have multiple different sort of trade magazines below.
Do you guys have performance benchmarks at all, like capacity on OpenPublish? Maybe the larger sites, how much traffic they get? I mean, you have to show the numbers exactly, but
Sure. Well, obviously, I cannot go into the specific numbers, but the Nation and the New Republic are getting quite significant amount of traffic, and there are different ways to. I mean, it definitely scales. OpenPublish scales as much as Drupal scales.
Over 1 million a month.
million pages.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that goes into the whole. It's more of a deployment issue than the code issue at that point. Yes.
I was curious about the OpenFly. Are there specific terms as far as agreeing to work with their API? Like for a local company that might be very specific, I guess. I didn't know if, like, I guess OpenFly uses all of that data and they aggregate it. I just didn't know if, like, that local
Yeah. So
group was going to.
So the question is about the vocabulary that OpenCollation is familiar with, I understand? Like,
Yeah.
what are the specific terms that it works with?
Right.
Open.
You mean in terms of the agreement to use it, or?
Well, I didn't know if there were specific terms of agreement to use it, or
Oh, sorry,
like if
okay.
you're looking at like a local political type of site, if that.
It's free to use. You get up to 40,000 transactions a day, and a transaction is sending content, get tags back.
Okay.
You're throttled to, I think, 4 per second, and it's for commercial and non-commercial use.
Okay.
They don't actually, so you send it content, but they don't save your content. They just use it to train their system to get better at recognizing
Oh,
content. And the team over there is pretty responsive. If you have some content that gets tagged incorrectly or is returning things, it's missing something you think you should probably grab, send things to them, and they'll work it into their release cycles, but they welcome the feedback.
Yes.
Can you handle a lot of content? I mean, maybe not, something more on the scale like an encyclopedia type content?
Yeah. So the question was about the scale and the amount of content. So yeah, I mean, the New Republic and the Nation have a lot. I mean, a lot of content is relative, but they have significant content that we can be confident that it scales pretty well. There are certain things that you need to do, like if you have a lot of content, you should not use the. I mean, OpenPublish can be used with the Drupal default search, or we also have very good integration with Solr. So if you have a lot of content, you would not use the Drupal default search. If you have a lot of content, you would like cache stuff and provide some performance and scalability improvements, but inherently it can scale to very large content sets.
It can scale. For example, the Nation, we just imported all their archives back to the 1800s, and there's something like 150,000 pieces of content that are the same.
And are they fully searchable?
Yeah. Integrated with Solr Search. I believe some of it's on DCATL as well.
Right.
About migration, just want to talk a little bit about migration and upgrade and as you go through step to step. Easy part looks just like Drupal.
Yeah, we take it very. The question was about migration from version of the OpenPublish to another version. We take it very seriously, upgrade path, because we believe that when you maintain a distribution, it's just something that you just need to do. You cannot leave people hanging. So with every version since 1.7, we have provided very detailed upgrade instructions for how to go from one version to another. We intend to continue to do that. The feedback we get from people is that mostly it runs smoothly. It depends heavily on the customizations they have done to the system, but it looks like at least 90% of the time people have no problem. And if they have any problem, they usually come to the group that we run, and we try to help them out. So it's much less problem than it could be.
Have you helped many people go from a regular Drupal install to OpenPublish? I remember that's probably is it better to start from scratch? I'm sure you want to put your database.
Well, the only numbers we have are the numbers that are on the screen, which is there are 3,500 active installations still. All these 3,500 people have decided that starting from OpenPublish was more beneficial than starting from Drupal. I'm not under the illusion that every publishing site that starts with OpenPublish, but going forward, like the thing that we're partnering with Acquia, we're talking to many other Drupal shops in the community. We want this eventually to be so streamlined and so generic that would make no sense for people to start with
I'm
scratch.
just coming from a company that's already in Drupal, and I didn't know how hard it was.
Oh, you mean switching from Drupal to OpenPublish?
It's not that difficult.
Okay.
You could use, just as an example, you could use the migrate module, basically create views of your current content and move them into new content types.
Okay.
You could do it directly at the database level if you need to. There's a lot of options.
So you can just take your MySQL data out and import it.
No, you cannot import the MySQL data dump. Unfortunately, you cannot just import the database because database in Drupal also has configuration, not just content, so that's going to mess up stuff. But there's a very good module, Migrate and Table Wizard, actually 2 modules, and a lot of people have used that to migrate content and start with a new system. Okay. Let's have some drinks then. Thank you.